Vicky. I'm IceFlower Crochet. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook under IceFlower Crochet, and you can find me on Ravelry as IceFlowerVicky. So it's been ages since I talked to you. I'm sorry about that. So I've got my coffee, and it's actually night time, so forgive the light if it's not very good. It's a bit yellow, I think. And I'm going to do a May and June catch up in mid-July, sorry about that, and then my summer holidays are coming up at the end of July, and I'm going to attempt to do some July-August vlogs in my summer holiday vlogs, and catch up with the July then. You'll see that there's very little crochet going on in this, so if you don't appreciate that, step away now with my apologies. I've been doing a lot of walking. I did over 100 miles walking in June, and I've done a lot of gardening because this is the growing season, and if you turn around, the garden just gets out of control. Actually, it's already out of control, but now the rainy season has set in, and so I knew that it was going to start raining, and I wanted to get as much done as possible. So vlogging and crochet rather went by the by, but it's been a really nice 5 or 6 weeks, done lots of lovely things. So you'll see there are lots of walks. The one I want to show you first is in early June we went to BA and Furano and Mount Tokachi, and it was just a sudden decision day trip, and we went to BA, and the first pictures you'll see are of the blue pool, the blue pond, and that really is that colour. I didn't do anything to the photograph. So you'll see in one of the clips there's a waterfall, and the water soaks through the rocks and then comes out, and apparently in the rocks there's aluminium, so aluminium deposits come out in through the waterfall, and there's a river that comes under to the base of the waterfall from the mountain, which is a volcano, so the river is full of volcanic salts, and apparently the aluminium from the waterfall and the salts in the river mix, and then from that point on the river is bright blue and this overflow pond is bright blue, and it's really gorgeous, and it's famous because it was Macintosh Apple screensaver at one point a few years ago, and that made that photographer famous, and it also made the blue pond famous. So we went there, we went to look at the waterfall, we went up the mountain by car, we went to the start of the hiking course, but you have to be a really fit and strong hiker, and leave at dawn and all that with good equipment to do that mountain, and we're too fat and old for that. So we did walk up a bit. We just walked up half a kilometre or so up the trail. It's volcanic rocks, it's very rough. And then we went to the Hokkaido's highest onsen, which is a hot spring. So we went and we had a hot spring bath. It's outside, so you sit in the bath and you look out at the mountains. It's absolutely fantastic. I took a picture from the roof of the balcony over the hot spring. You can't see under it. They've made it so that you can't see people in the baths, which is nice. Yeah, and then we went down onto the flatlands into Furano, and we went to a flower farm and we had dinner and we went home. So that'll be the first thing you see. And then after that, it's a series of clips of daily walks that I've done, and just beautiful Hokkaido early summer. As I said, we had such a stretch of good weather, and I think you'd agree that it's really lovely. And I've added some commentary, and I've added little titles and things so you can see what I was doing there. So please have a look, and as I said, there's only sprinkles of crochet here and there. Two things I'm doing a hat and a blanket, and they do show up briefly here and there, and I'll see you on the other side. Oh, I've forgotten, I bought a remote control, but I'm so unused to it I keep forgetting to use it, and it doesn't work. Switch off. Yeah, well, that was useless, wasn't it? Lots and lots of semi-cicadas because it's hot. And this is the highway rest area. Doesn't look like it from this angle, does it? But if you look that way, that's where all the cars are. So this is the blue pond in BA, and you can see just how stunning it was. And what was interesting was there was actually a lot of people there, but when they arrived at the pool, they all stopped chattering and just stood and walked slowly and quietly and watched it. It was so peaceful. So there was a trail along one side of the pond, and we walked all the way up. The trees are dead because the salts in the pond are acidic, I think. Nothing survives, and there's no animals in there either. And then after that we continued on nearer and nearer to the mountain. I don't know if you can see on this video, but there are swallows flying backwards and forwards everywhere, catching bugs. So after the waterfall we went up further towards the mountain. We got to the start of the hiking trail and we did do a bit of it, but you can see in the car park photograph that there's snow, there's a lot of snow. And you do actually have to walk across snowfields if you want to hike to the top. So this is Tokachidake, and we're going up the road. Further up the mountain, nearer to the mountain, to an onsen hot spring. This is a bit scary. The mountain's over there, so wet. Roads are shut during the winter. Oh, this is high. It's very volcanic. I think we're just about out of the tree line now. Above the tree line. Glad you're driving. Is that where we're going?
It's the highest onsen in Hokkaido.
Really? Okay. Oh wow. Oh wow. Can't see because the trees are in the way. I think there'll probably be a place to take pictures from up there. That one's a bit Boro Boro.
Yeah.
Is that one closed? Oh, there's a car park outside it.
This one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Surprisingly full.
Yeah. Quite popular, this one.
Just because people want to say they've been to the highest onsen in Hokkaido. An onsen is a natural hot spring bath, and the bath was actually just below this balcony. It was outside, built into the rocks in the mountain. Okay, a lovely straight Hokkaido road. You're winking. So what did you say about this road when you were walking?
Couldn't feel progress.
It's just straight and straight. So if you went all the way to the end, how many kilometres would it be?
Quite far away.
Oh, the greens are so green and the blues are so blue. It's just gorgeous. So after that we drove through the flatlands of Furano, and hey look, there's a bit of crochet, told you I did some. And we went to Tomita Farm, which is a lavender farm, but at this point the lavender wasn't flowering, but the poppies and salvia were. It was very beautiful. And then a long drive home through the night. It was a really lovely day. This is my June garden. I collect aquilegias, swapping seeds with friends and neighbours. There's such a huge variety. And Hokkaido summer is very short and very powerful. Everything just catches up with the mainland by about July. Everything bursts into colour and life, and I absolutely love it, but it's also very hard to keep up with the gardening, which is why I haven't been vlogging. We had a really nice stretch of good weather for about 3 weeks, and I felt like I couldn't waste a moment of it. So I rewarded myself with scones, and our strawberries were really good this year. Very happy. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear any of this over the wind. So I haven't been out much, and I haven't been videoing much because I've done no crochet, very little, and I've done a lot of gardening and not so much walking because we've had a really good run, 3 weeks or so of really nice weather, not too hot, very sunny, not much rain. So I've been trying to get my mad Hokkaido garden under control. Once the season starts, everything just explodes into action and you don't have much time before your garden turns into a jungle. But today it's threatening rain and it's very windy, as you can hear. And I've decided I've been keeping up my 3 miles a day by the skin of my teeth, but only in disjointed little walks around the block and shopping and stuff. So I've decided I'm going to walk into town. I want to go to the stationery shop. There's one nice one on the other side of town. So that will give me maybe 8 kilometres, 4 or so at each go, 4 and a bit at each go. And I'm walking along the river. There's the river. It's very nice. But it's grim and grey, very blustery. This morning, early in the morning, it sounded like there was a train going past the house. But just now there's loads and loads of birds singing in the trees by the river. And it's not raining yet. I think it's going to start tonight. So I'm taking advantage and walking. I'd quite like to sit down with my crochet and have a cuppa, but there isn't anywhere. Every area has its own little supermarket and post office and sort of amenities, but there's no place to congregate in this town. And so when you look at a map of the town, it's a series of clumps with rivers and big roads in between. So that is a disadvantage of living here. On the other hand, it's a series of rivers with riverbanks. There's the river down there, and lovely walks in the summer when the snow's not built up. So here's some ice flower crochet in the wild that a customer sent me a photograph of her sofa blanket doing good service. That's a couple of years old now. It's holding up very well, pleased to see. And the next week or so was more gardening. That's my beautiful, beautiful rose cherry parfait. This is a blanket I've been working on since May. It's slowly growing, and vegetables from the farmer's market. So, good morning, or nearly good afternoon again. I'm in a lovely park. It's in the centre of a town nearby. It's not my town. And they've left a strip, not very wide, look. I don't know how wide. That's one side of it, one street. It's probably one street's worth wide. There's the other one. But it's really lovely. And then the next day I found a new walking route along another river, and I've really, really enjoyed discovering how far this trail goes and where it ends up. And I've ended up walking it 3 times in the last 3 weeks, but I shall be doing it a lot more, because look how lovely and clean and clear that water is, and the green of the trees, and it's just a beautiful little oasis. So I've never even walked along this path. I didn't know it existed. I knew the river existed, but just thought it was one of the standard rivers in the town. I didn't know it did this. And all these houses, their gardens, back onto this little streamlet. And that's gorgeous. And look, this house or garden's got a bridge. I don't know, that might actually be onto public land, but how sweet. And there's a tiny little islet with a tree on it, look. Oh, I'd like to live here. And everywhere I look, people are gardening, because today is absolutely perfect weather. It's 25 degrees and there's quite a strong wind, as you can hear, more than a breeze, and it's just a delight to be alive. Must have been called in for feed or something, like they're all going in the same direction with purpose. They were all up by the fence a little while ago. That's corn, and I think they're doing their first hand weeding. I think once this one's done, they won't bother anymore. It'll be strong enough to deal with it by itself. And judging by the fact that I've seen cows over there, I would suspect this is cow food, not people corn. My husband's waiting for me at the end of the road. He had to drive from somewhere else today, so he spent the night away. So he's just got off the highway there. The exit is just along there somewhere. And so he drove down this road and he's at the end. So a few more minutes. So this was a nice reward for a long walk. We had a pizza together in the nice restaurant, and then we bought 2 new roses and took them back to our garden. So the weather continued to be good. Our strawberry harvest continued to be good. I got loads of more gardening done, and then the weather broke.
First summer storm of the year.
Oh, my poor peonies. There's already puddles on the ground. Of course, the good weather came back, and by that time the roses were in full bloom. These are my 2 favourites. The pink one is Fantan Latour and this is Cherry Parfait. And then I decided that I was going to walk down the river and its tributary and see how far I could get in a day. So that was my next walking challenge. Wasn't this lovely? You can't see because it's so blown out, but there's like a meadowy bit there. And then behind me there's houses, gardens. So I've succeeded. It wasn't brilliantly pretty because I couldn't walk right by the river like I am now. I had to go along roadsides near it, and at one point I had to deviate to get across the train tracks. I had to find a level crossing. But generally speaking, it's been a really nice walk. I'm about 3 miles in. Isn't that lovely? I'm about 3 miles in, and I've probably got another 2 to go, although there's one place I'd like to investigate, although it's a museum, but I've been reading up about it and apparently you can't get in except by appointment, but I'd like to go and read the sign and see what it looks like from the outside. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the walk. It's green and clean and quiet, although we're quite near a big road. And I'll see how far I can get.
How lovely it'd be to live in one of these houses that backs onto the riverbank. And the river's down there, but it's so lush you can't see the water. Oh yeah, you can just a bit. Oh, I'd love to live in one of these houses. Although I've just seen photographs of a flood in the 1960s, so perhaps not. The water is reasonably high up here. We had a big thunderstorm yesterday, and we had 20 millimetres of rain in 1 hour and 50 in another, and then about 6 an hour for the rest of the day, or 4 an hour. So this is going under the bridge that I found the other day. That's a car going home. Oh, it's a bit muddy under here. Obviously the water does come up here from time to time. I just feel like I've fallen into England with the meadow and the stream. The houses don't look right, but the meadow does. Can you see over there? There's some red roofs. I'm going to have a look and see what that is. There was a bunch of crows nesting, and they were really not happy for me to be walking anywhere near them. So I started getting dabbed on by crows, which was scary, and it was very quiet and a bit creepy. So I came out, and oh, it's hot. So I've got to go back to the bridge, which is over there, and I'll go back over it because I've got to get across that river. So I've had to backtrack a bit, but that's all right. Frogs. That there is a boggy pond. I'm in the gardens. I think I'm sunburned. I just re-slathered myself, but it's very, very sunny. So where in the spring there were daffodils, they've now got daisies and clover, and it's brilliant because they don't have to cut the leaves of the daffodils so that they can re-strengthen. This is the orchard, this side. Pear orchard, I think. This is just lovely. Rose season in my garden is just starting. I think it's probably just starting here too, in the rose garden. So I'm looking for a bright orange rose. So if I see one, take note of its name. Blue garden, and yes, it's blue and white. Oh, it's gorgeous. And the hostas are the bluey leaved ones. I can't grow these delphiniums, larkspur, whatever they are. They're alright for like a year and then they just disappear. Oh, this is lovely. There's a lovely clematis in here. Look at that. Look at the size of them. So it's early evening, late afternoon, and I've decided to start walking back. which might take 2 hours. Might take a bit more because I'm very tired. Haven't you got pretty eyes? You're absolutely not interested in anything except the grass, are you? Okay, bye then. So I'm walking on the other side of the river this time. See what it looks like. So that was a really fun walk, nice day, got lots of exercise. And the next week my garden was absolutely full of roses. Really pleased. This bright pink one is Leonardo da Vinci, and it's doing really well this year. So another day, another walk. I walked a lot in June. This is an old horse relay station, and that's one of the oldest rice fields in Hokkaido. So this was used for travellers to change horses and to stay the night and rest along the trade routes. It's a Meiji era building, which is late 1800s, mid to late 1800s, and now it's a local museum. I've got to go through that tunnel ahead of me. It's not a tunnel, it's a bridge with the road over it. And I'm feeling a bit creepy. So I've just come through there. That's under the regular road, bypass, and I'm walking, well, I've just come off the village road and I'm on even more of a bypass, and that is the highway. So the lovely bird song. And the never stopping cars going over the top. And I am the only one around here. And I'm finding that slightly unnerving. There's forest back there. So I hope there's no bears. Or at least if there are bears, I hope bears, you've got sense to go that way and not come down this cliff onto the road, eh? Now, I didn't know it at the time, but I stopped to take a picture along the river from this bridge, and that is about my 500 miles point. So I've walked 500 miles since January the 1st. This was June the 25th, I think. So I'm on target just to get to 1,000 miles by December 31st. It's getting hot now, 10:30. So I'm out of the foresty bit, which was where? Over there, somewhere. I came up there, and then I walked up here, and then I'm kind of taking a detour and going backwards again, because I want to get back onto another road, which is more that way. So that's what I'm doing. Very agricultural. There's no shade here, so when I was near the trees I was thinking bears, bears, and now there's no trees. I'm thinking no shade, no shade. There's no pleasing me. So it's quite hot. Well, I don't know, it's about 24 degrees maybe, but there's a cool wind. Lovely birds. Can you hear? It is lovely. The one thing I don't like about this area is it's where they bring in the electricity to the city. So there's pylons everywhere. Well, not everywhere, in a big marching line across the countryside, which is depressing, but I suppose we need electricity, can't be helped. And in Japan we have a lot of earthquakes, as you might have realised. Both my sons in Tokyo, different areas of Tokyo, had biggish earthquakes yesterday. That's slightly alarming. I hope the big one's not on its way. And so they don't bury utilities, because obviously if something broke it would be very difficult to fix it. If everything's above ground they can just go and put the wires back together. Nice farm there. The red roofs are all tin or steel, I suppose they are. Right, going that way. This walk, the end of it was rather marred by my realisation as I rounded the corner to our house that I hadn't got any keys and I was locked out, and it resulted in me having to sprint another mile or so across to my mother-in-law's house to get our spare keys and then rush back, and really that was rather more than I wanted to do, and yeah, it was a bit of a mess. We had a lovely surprise at the weekend when our son, who was working in Hokkaido in the previous week, was able to take the weekend off and stay with us. So we went for a nice Sunday walk, ate lots of ice cream. What? You're a nubby?
Yeah. It's weird.
Say hi.
Hello.
That's all we get. That's a nice flowering thingy over there.
Oh yeah, the white thing.
What is it? Deutzia, I think. That's escaped from somebody's garden. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate you staying with me. If you came for the crochet and you didn't get much, again, I apologise. As I said at the beginning, I'm planning to do a crochet vlog or a daily vlog of my summer holidays, which is going to start at the end of July and it will go through to the 2nd or 3rd week of August, second week. And I'm not sure how daily it will be, but at that point I'm expecting to be able to show you a lot more crochet because it'll be too hot for gardening and probably too hot for walking. But I hope that you did enjoy seeing a Hokkaido late spring and early summer. It's so beautiful here. The weather is really good at that season and it's not yet too hot, and it's just the chance to get out and enjoy life before it gets too hot and then it gets too cold and then the snow falls and then we're white again for another 5 months of the year. So thank you for watching, and my next vlog will be at the start of my summer holidays, my next podcast episode, and then from then on I'll vlog. So thanks for watching. Bye. Cheers if you were having a cup of tea or coffee while you were watching. Bye then.